Welcome to Moon Harbor Heroes. Today's issue is Faces, issue 31, A Rising Star. On the cover, Lighthammer faces himself in a gilded mirror. However, instead of his reflection, we see an older man wearing his armor. Hiding behind the mirror is Allie, reading a dated Moon Harbor comic book titled Lighthammer Issue 1, with a younger version of the original hero on the cover. We turn the page, and our story begins. We're going to start this session pretty much right after the Lighthammer and Rascal King issue. And Lighthammer, you had just gotten off the phone with your PR agent, Mike Donnelly, and you had demanded that he get you a meeting with the original Lighthammer today.
Yeah, that's me.
Yep. Yeah, we can't just have you say that and then skip to another day. No, we got to keep going. So we get the panel where you hang up the phone, and then we see a panel that zoomed in on Lighthammer's face on a microscopic level. Since I think at the end of last session, you said that this is the first time that we'd seen him totally not in costume. And this should be familiar to readers of the Faces line from issue 19, Date Night. And we see the same green corruption, which is now spread from Lighthammer's hands to the rest of his body, before the next panel zooms out to normal. And Lighthammer, I have a custom move for you.
Awesome. Before we do that, what did I say I was wearing? Because I don't remember.
I don't think you actually said what you were wearing. It was just you're not in costume, which is shocking enough.
I think I'm wearing like a super preppy, like khaki pants, like Sperry's, and like a sky blue polo. Like I look like the epitome of a douchebag frat boy.
Oh, perfect. When the corruption gains strength, roll plus danger. On a hit, shift danger up and savior down. On a 10+, choose 1. You pass out and will gain consciousness in an unfortunate situation. You feel the corruption take hold of your powers a bit. When you next use them, there will be a side effect, GM's choice, or 2 options from the 7 to 9 list. On a 7 to 9, choose 1. You cruelly lash out at someone important to you. They have to roll to take a powerful blow. You give in to the corruption a little bit, and Mutagen feels it. You struggle past the influence. Mark 2 conditions. On a miss, you stand strong. Mark potential as normal and say how you struggle past the influence of the corruption.
All right, let's roll plus danger, y'all.
And you will definitely be using this multiple times.
That's a 5.
Nice. Yeah, mark potential. Say how you struggle past the influence of the corruption.
I don't even think I've noticed that I'm feeling the corruption at this point. I think it's very like, I am just so angry and so determined that I don't even think I notice it. I think it just kind of washes over me. And I think it's just more determination.
I'm about that. And why don't we skip to, unless you want anything else from this?
No, I'm good. I think we can skip to wherever we want to skip.
Okay. Yeah, so I think a few hours later, there's a slight knock at the door. And do you keep the door locked?
Oh, absolutely. Especially after the whole remix thing.
That's fair. Okay. Yeah, there's a knock at the door, and then you see the knob being turned, and then there's another knock at the door.
And I'm in my apartment at this point?
Yeah, I think that's where you said you had gone back to?
I believe it. I don't know. It's been a while since I did that issue, but we're in my apartment. I love that. I think the hammer is still not far away from me, and I want to like put my hand on it as I like watch to see who comes in. Like, I'm not hiding the fact that I'm holding the hammer. I'm not actively swinging it, but it's very much like whoever walks in is going to see me in plain clothes, but holding the hammer, standing there staring at them.
There's a knock, and then like there's kind of like a brief moment of quiet before the door just blast in with a wave of sound. And like there's the cloud of dust, and then once it clears, we see an older man. He's white. He looks like he's in his 70s with like gray hair that's fading to white, and he's got reading glasses. Like at a first glance, he looks like a pretty fragile old man, but there's just something about his presence that's a lot more powerful than you would expect. And then we see an editor's note, OG Lighthammer. Actually, no, it probably says original, but I keep calling him OG Lighthammer.
I hate that I did that to everyone, but original Lighthammer. Okay, cool. I'm just staring at him, and then after like a long moment of the two of us staring at each other, I say, want a drink? And then I'm going to turn and walk away from him.
He closes the door behind him and then comes over to, I guess you have a bar.
Yeah.
He goes to sit down and looks to you and says, seem a bit young to be having all this.
Yeah, well, you seem a bit old to send cease and desist letters to a child, so I think I'll be fine. And I pour just like a shot of scotch.
For you or for him?
For me.
Okay.
I don't actually like scotch. Lighthammer is a clear liquor person, but scotch feels like the most mature choice. So I'm gonna like sip on it and just like not show that I hate it. But it's a classy drink, and I want to look classy for OG Lighthammer.
His eyes kind of flash when he mentioned the cease and desist. And he just kind of like stares at you for a good moment, just like this really piercing stare where like he's like looking you up and down and just really taking in who you are, especially since you're not in costume. And then it's a bar stool, so he doesn't like totally lean back, but like he leans back a bit more relaxed with his hands up on the bar and he says, "You think I wouldn't send a cease and desist to somebody who's just picking up the Lighthammer mantle, some kid being a pretender? You've been out there throwing like my good name through the dust."
I think your predecessor already did that. Remember how he killed a bunch of people? And then I take like a slow sip of the scotch.
Doesn't mean that the next person to pick it up is some stupid kid playing dress up.
You know, maybe if you didn't pick someone who sucked to take over for you, a random kid wouldn't have to.
We see the original Lighthammer reach over to grab a glass and the scotch and pours himself one. And there's like a couple panels of silence as he takes a sip of it. And he like kind of looks around the apartment where you've got, did the big statue of you come back? The one that got like totally knocked out through the window in that Faces session?
Yeah, Carl brought it back in. Brought it back in.
Okay, yeah, he like looks around and we see this absolutely gigantic statue of Lighthammer. And yeah, you've probably got like Lighthammer action figures. This whole apartment is Lighthammer.
There's a painting on the ceiling of Lighthammer as both God and Adam in the creation of man.
I absolutely hate that.
Yeah, I said that already. That's already canon. We've established this already. But yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, there's definitely a panel of that, and that goes straight to the original Lighthammer, who just takes another sip of the scotch before looking back at you. You know, earlier today, I thought that I had seen somebody who might have a chance of being Lighthammer. Before this, all I saw was some kid putting on a costume, looking cool, and just all about the fame spotlight. That's not what Lighthammer is about.
Well, times change, people change, and the way you get ahead in this world is with money. I would assume you would know that. You've lived in it long enough. I'm not here trying to besmirch the good name of Lighthammer, but I have to survive. I don't have parents. I don't have funds. I can't keep a job while I'm saving the world. So, yeah, I capitalized on my own success, but I did it to survive. And yeah, is it fun? Absolutely. Do I enjoy the perks? Yeah. But also, I'm good at my fucking job. I'm a good hero.
We see the original Lighthammer pull out his phone, and we see him like, he doesn't necessarily show you, but he has it on the counter where you can clearly see, and we see him pull up your Instagram with, how many followers do you have on Instagram?
Like upwards of 500,000, I think.
Cool. He closes that. We see your Twitter page, which similar amount of followers, more or less.
A little bit less. Instagram is the thing I'm the most active on.
Okay. And it's like in your Instagram, we of course saw all of these like photos and videos of you being amazing and similar things on Twitter. And then we see him pull up an article from like 3 years back of a local museum saying that Greyhammer's costume has been stolen. We see him pull up another page where it's an article about Pathogen absolutely kicking your ass 3 years ago. He like pushes the button to turn off the phone and kind of looks at you and he's like, "Yeah, you've been better lately. But let's be real. You stole this costume. And a few years ago, it was embarrassing. Seeing a Lighthammer running around absolutely getting beat up by Pathogen, honestly should have sent out that cease and desist sooner, but you were also a kid. However, you've been acceptable lately. You've been working with friends. You've still been in the spotlight, but it hasn't been entirely about you. Because Lighthammer is not about just the hero. Lighthammer is supposed to be a hero. It's about saving other people. And he pauses to take another sip of his scotch.
When he puts the scotch down, I'm staring like him dead in the eyes, and I say, "Where was that mentality when Greyhammer killed my parents? I think I'm owed this costume. He took something from me, so I took something back. This is mine more than anyone else's right now. And if you're so about saving people, why the fuck didn't you stop him?"
He looks genuinely surprised when you mention your parents being killed by Greyhammer. And then he takes off the glasses, and he stands up, and we see him like pull up his shirt a decent amount, like it's showing pretty much most of his chest, and there's just scars all over the place. Like some of it's from fighting, but you see there's a lot of like actual surgical scars too. He's old, and a lot of the scars look pretty old. And then he puts down the shirt and sits back down and takes a pretty long sip of scotch. Hero work gets tough, kid. If you live long enough, eventually there's only so much you can do.
And that's the thing about my generation. I don't think we plan to. I think we're going to go down hard. We're going to go down fighting. And 70% of us won't make it to 30. But you know what? We're going to leave the world a better place when we get out of here.
He laughs at that and he's like, yeah, that's exactly what we were saying back when I was your age. Oof. Lost a lot of good people.
Yeah.
He pulls out his phone again and we see him pull up the cease and desist document. And he like scrolls through it for a few minutes before he turns off his phone again. And then he looks at you and he says, when was the last time you saw Pathogen?
A couple of years ago, Pathogen kidnapped my ex-boyfriend. But it was more important to get Charlie out of there than to, you know, actually do the fight. So I left. It wasn't about Pathogen that day.
He looks back at his phone, which is still turned off, but like we saw what had previously been on the screen. Looks back at you and he drains the rest of the scotch after that. And then he pushes that away from him and he's like, ugh, never liked that drink.
I think I actually laugh and take what is left of my glass, which I think I've taken like 3 sips out of, and I just pour it down the drain. And I'm like, yeah, neither.
Listen, kid, I'm willing to drop this cease and desist. If you can go out there and really, really be Lighthammer. Not some kid playing dress up. Not some kid out for the spotlight. Lighthammer. Kids that steal costumes and get their ass kicked by Pathogen. Not what I'm interested in. But Pathogen's no match for Lighthammer. Can you take care of that?
Gladly. He owes me a rematch anyway.
He looks over at that like empty scotch and is just like, yeah, I haven't heard much of Pathogen lately, but beginning to think Mutagen's about to come out of hiding and get up to some stuff soon. So, Pathogen's not there to help him. Maybe things can go better.
I kind of laugh and I'm like, plus like Mutagen's like your age now, so I think it can probably take an old man down. And then I offer a hand to shake.
He gives you another like really piercing stare for a moment before he leans down and shake his hand with like a surprisingly firm handshake. Did you want anything else out of that scene, or do you want to shift somewhere else?
I'm good there.
Cool. Why don't we shift over to Allie? So, Allie, where are you at?
I feel like, oh, okay. Can I be in Lighthammer's apartment? Because I feel like of all the apartments around, Lighthammer's is the best stocked. I feel like I'd spend a lot of time there. Or do we want to go somewhere else?
Where in Lighthammer's apartment? I'm curious, like, you're obviously not in the same room, but where are you hiding out?
I think I'm in the kitchen.
And do you hear this? Because, of course, the bar is separate from the kitchen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm in the kitchen just like quietly making myself a snack, listening into this. Is that okay?
I'm cool with that. Is the kitchen like a totally separate room, or is it like a bit more open?
Lighthammer?
It's a very open floor plan apartment, but I think there's like the bar is way more in the living room than it is in the kitchen. So there's probably like a half wall. So if you like step too far towards the refrigerator, we'd probably see you. But like if you're over in like the pantry area, you're fine.
Excellent. I think I'm just like, can we get some panels of me listening into this while making myself a sandwich?
Oh, absolutely.
Because Allie's a big Lighthammer fan, and I just want to force myself into this adventure.
Oh, yeah. And like throughout the background of this, like we see there's a bunch of like Lighthammer just memorabilia, just fan stuff. It's all over the kitchen too.
I think like at the very end of that speech, like I'm sitting on the table eating my sandwich, like flipping through old Lighthammer issues.
Oh, the fridge absolutely has a bunch of magnets with like Lighthammer's greatest hits news articles.
Oh my god.
There's a lot of fan-made art on the fridge too. Like, I don't put up fan art in a lot of places, but like fan letters and fan art all make it on the fridge.
Oh, I love that.
Lighthammer's apartment is very gaudy, but also very like aesthetically the same. It's all everything is gold and teal and high art, statues, paintings, that kind of thing. So like I get one area to be like, look at the fans, they're so cute.
Amazing.
And I'd like a couple panels like where I'm flipping through the old Rider issues, like the first introduction of Lighthammer. And like we get a panel of me like leaning over to look over at Lighthammer. We see him drawn like a distinctly different style. And then like I lean back and it's like, editor, you around?
We see the like regular pop-up of the editor's comments. I mean, it's a comic book. Where else am I gonna go?
Yeah. I was wondering, can we get a new artist on this? Lighthammer looks a lot better in whoever drew this one. Like I hold up the original Rider issue. Come on, he pops in this.
Oh my god. Yeah, we get a panel where the editor says, "Oh yeah, absolutely. They can start on the next page." And like it's one of those, this is happening on the left side of the page, and you see the rest of the panels on that page continue in the previous style, and then the page on the right is back in that style.
Oh, phenomenal.
And then we see the panel saying, "Well, that cost a bit extra changing contracts like that, but yeah, it looks better."
Oh, I love it.
We get a like speech bubble like cutting across from the other page of Lighthammer saying like, did it just get a little hot in here?
We get the sound of the door closing as the original Lighthammer leaves. And Lighthammer, what do you do once he's left?
I pour myself a large shot of vodka and then just drink it. And then I like put my head on the bar and just give this like long like okay. And then I straighten up.
I think we cut back to Allie, who's probably got like the sandwich in her mouth.
Yeah, and with Lighthammer not occupied, I think it is time for me to make an exit. So I think we get like me grab a comic and flip through and like find a page that has a panel showing like the front of Lighthammer's building. And we get like an overhead shot of me like holding out the panel, and then I'd like to try to step through it some outside the building.
Okay. What does that look like on the panel?
So I think you get the panel of like me holding it, and then we get an overhead shot of like the comic laying open on the table, and then me just jumping down in through the panel, and then a panel of me grabbing the edge of the comic and pulling it in through with me.
God, I love that. We turn the page, and how does it look like on the on the panel when you come out from the comic outside the apartment?
We get a shot of like the front of the building and like these bushes on the sides, and then we see like a wrinkling on the page, and I just fall out of space and just land haphazardly in the bushes.
Oh, perfect.
I'm gonna get myself up, dust myself off, and I'm gonna wait till Lighthammer goes on the hunt, because I'm gonna lie my way into this adventure.
Amazing. So why don't we go back to Lighthammer then?
What time of day is it? Wasn't the Max Lighthammer fight in the evening?
It was like mid-afternoon, so it's probably early evening now.
I want to call Mike and basically do some digging to see if mutagen or pathogen have been spotted recently, if there are any patterns. Actually, I think I want to ask my audience. I think I'm going to tweet out to the audience and be like, itching for a good hashtag fight. Anyone seen pathogen or mutagen recently? And then like the like throwing up face emoji, and then just like a hashtag Lighthammer.
Oh my god. I'm going down to find this move.
I can read it. When you seek help from your audience, roll plus superior. On a hit, someone in your audience can hook you up. On a 10 plus, they only make a small demand. On a 7 to 9, their demands are a lot higher. On a miss, you've made a mistake, and your audience won't help you until you've redeemed yourself in their eyes. And yeah, that's what I gotta do. I gotta roll plus superior.
Oh man, and you just locked that at 3.
Doesn't matter because I still got a 6.
Incredible. Oh man. Unless you want to spend the 1 team.
What is the fail condition on that again?
Unless you've made a mistake and they won't act until you've redeemed yourself in their eyes.
I think I have a way to spend team on that. Can we, like, if we cut from, like, the Twitter feed not working to me, I could have, like, I think I have a thing.
I'm interested.
So we get a panel of the Twitter feed just with, are you cool if we go, like, very little responses for now?
Works for me.
Yeah, I think it's very little. And then there's like a few that are like, there's like a few that are pulling from like similar past articles of like the previous fights with Pathogen that didn't go as well.
Okay, cool. And then, like, we get a panel of that same Twitter feed, but the, like, outside edge of the phone is now just like a hot pink. And we cut out to Allie sitting on a, like, deck chair, which is, like, astute readers will notice it's from the, like, ship in the Violet issues when Caro and Violet went on the boat. And she's just sitting just right outside Lighthammer's building. And she's looking at the phone and goes, hey, editor, can we shift this a little? This is going to slow down my introduction. I'm really, really excited to punch someone. And can I use that to spin a team?
Yeah.
Okay, we are at 0 team.
Perfect. Yeah, we see the editor's bubble pop in and he's like, yeah, it was gonna be pretty boring anyways, so yeah, sure. And then we see on Lighthammer's phone a tweet pop up, which I'm trying to think of like what a good name for this would be. I think the Twitter handle is just the editor, and there isn't a profile picture or anything. And the tweets there's not too many of them, and it's a reply to Lighthammer's tweet, and we see a picture of Pathogen outside of what looks like a warehouse, and but it has an address on it. There's like not much information. Yeah, that's the first tweet, and then there is a reply to that tweet. Which, does Allie have a Twitter?
Yes. I gotta think of a name. That's it. It's at the AV Club.
Yeah, in the second reply we see and bring at the AV Club with you.
We see me looking at my phone and I say, who the fuck is at the AV Club?
That's a good question. Does your Twitter give much information on who you are?
I don't think so, but I absolutely would not mind, like, whenever Lighthammer walks out the front of the building, I would love to be holding a cardboard sign that said at the AV Club.
Incredible.
I'm cool going right to that.
Yeah, I think we see Lighthammer walking out, like, still head in his phone, confused, and then we see, like, in the foreground Lighthammer, and then in the background Allie holding up this sign.
I think I walk directly into Allie. Like, I'm so in my phone I don't even see her, and I just, because she's also pretty short, so I just like walk and like bump right into her.
Hey, Lighthammer, I'm your partner. Ready to go kick some ass?
You're not my partner. My partner is Ryder Typhon. Who are you, kid?
Oh, come on. Like, you're barely older than me.
Yeah, but like, when you've seen all that I've seen, age is but a number. And I like strike a heroic pose, and there's like dramatic lighting behind me.
Oh my god. You've had like 6 issues, max. Okay. Hi, I'm Allie, and I hold out my hand for a handshake.
Issues?
I mean, sorry, you're clearly a guy with a lot of issues. Come on, let's go kick some ass.
Oh my fucking god.
I want to pierce that mask.
Go for it.
That's an
Okay.
11.
Yeah, on a 10 plus, ask 3.
All right.
What are you really planning?
I am planning to have a super cool, fun adventure.
I think I'm going to ask that in character. I think I'm going to be like, okay, what are you really planning?
A team up where we kick a villain's ass. Like, that's classic hero stuff. That's how you got started, right? Yeah.
I mean, that's how I got started with Ryder. It's not really how I got started, though. Like, there's a whole history before that. You just have to, like...
Yeah, but no one really cares about that part. Be honest.
Okay, I'll have you know that I had 384,000 followers before I met Ryder. So clearly people cared. Meanwhile, you on Twitter have 6. So remind me why I should listen to you.
Oh my god. I'll add that to my wish list. And I pull out my phone and type in expand Twitter followers.
Amazing.
Did you have other questions?
Out of character, how could I gain influence over you?
Oh, you have influence over Allie. Allie thinks Lighthammer's super cool. That's why she wants to team up.
And I don't think I need that third question. I'll just do the 2.
Okay.
Come on. You know you need a partner. You know you got to prove to OG Lighthammer that you can be a member of a team so that he drops the suit and we can move on. Let's just do it.
How do you know that?
Okay, I have a lot of powers. I can see the future. I can warp reality. It's just all a whole thing.
You can warp reality? Really, I want an ice cream cone.
Oh my god. I'd like to charge my bird.
Go for it.
Swear to god, if I take 3 conditions, summoning you an ice cream cone.
You fucking deserve it.
Okay, got an 11.
Excellent.
And my eyes go that like white projection screen, and I'm going to pull out a stack of comics and flip through and then just project an ice cream cone from Cold War into Lighthammer's hand. I'm going to use constructs.
Amazing. Yeah, Lighthammer. Now there's an ice cream cone in your hand.
I look down and I'm like, I didn't
Take a bite.
really want this. Okay, but like, and I want to lean in really close to Allie and be like, okay, so I just did a little bit of makeup because I knew I was going out for like a fight in the public. Like I don't want to mess up my lip gloss, so I trust you.
I warped reality for this. You're eating the ice cream.
Is that a provoke?
You are warping reality.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm like, it looked like you conjuring that ice cream was less effort than me putting on makeup. So, nice job. And I put the ice cream in your hand, and then I start walking down the street.
I follow, tossing it behind myself, and go, ugh, I don't like lavender flavored.
Oh, ew, gross. Yeah. Honestly, wait, that's an editor's note. The editor's note is, oh yeah, lavender's gross.
I think we get panels to be chasing after Lighthammer. Like, okay, so cool, team up?
Look, it's what the audience demands. So, sure. Just be careful. Mutagen and pathogen are intense, and, you know, I don't want you getting hurt.
But that tweet was like an obvious trap, right?
Oh, definitely. Oh, we're fully walking into a trap right now.
Are you in costume?
Yeah, I changed into costume before I came out.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we're walking into a trap. It's going to be a hell of a fight, but whatever. Miss, see the future. You know that I'm going to win it, so it's fine.
Yeah. I've been trying not to look at this one because, you know, spoilers. It's a lot more fun when you don't know it.
Look at this. What?
This, like, these events, this future.
You are so weird, you know that?
You changed your name to Lighthammer legally. I think we're both weird.
It's a brand.
Yeah, I think it, like, on the bottom of that panel, we see the editor's note. Enough of that, and that's like at the bottom of the right page. And so we turn to another panel with the caption, skip into the more interesting part, and we see you guys like a good like 200 feet away from the picture, from like the warehouse that you guys saw in the picture from the tweet. It's a pretty like unassuming regular warehouse. There's not like any markings saying who owns this. It's just warehouse. It's only markings are it's like street address.
Is there security?
Not it doesn't look like there's any.
Can I assess to see if there's security?
Go for it.
That's an 8.
Ask one.
What here is the biggest threat?
I'm
specifically looking for like cameras and like any trapped entrances, that kind of thing.
Yeah, from what you can see, there's definitely cameras pointing around the place. Like there's one at the door, there's one that's pointed more towards like the street where somebody would start walking up to the door. But I guess it's like a pretty normal amount of cameras. Like it's not like completely overwhelmed with cameras like crazy security. It's if you were to have security on a building, this is a reasonable amount of cameras.
I wanted to start taking the cameras out one by one.
How do you do that?
I've got the like Palm Sonic Blaster thing, and I just want to start like shooting like waves of sound from like the 200 feet away, and basically just like pinpricking them off the building.
I'm gonna have you roll to unleash your powers.
When I noticed you're doing that, can I try and stop you?
Yeah, go ahead and stop me.
Like as I see like what you're aiming to do, I'm like, hey, Hammer, if we take out the cameras, won't they just see there's a dead feed and know we're here?
First of all, if you're going to shorten it, let's do light, not hammer. And second of all,
I was trying something new.
yeah, it doesn't work. It's not my brand.
Okay.
And second of all, good point. But also, they did actively set up a trap for us on Twitter. So I think they probably already know we're coming. But, what do you suggest instead?
I want to hold up a stack of panels like cut out of a comic book. Like, we could just tape these over the cameras, and it just shows like the view each camera was getting.
Where did you get? Okay.
I'm a really good illustrator, and I'm quick.
Yeah, like impossibly quick.
There's like in that panel you can see like a pair of scissors sticking out of her back pocket.
Oh my god.
Sure. Do you need me to like get you close, or can you do that yourself? What do you need?
I split half the panels and hand that and a roll of tape to you.
I think we get like 2 panels of me just blinking, and then I'm like, I hate this so much. And then we start doing the thing.
Amazing. I think at the end of that, we get a cut to the like security room, like seeing the view on like from these cameras. And it's like we see how it looks before, and then we see like the picture going in front where like it looks almost the same. And it's just like that brief flicker of movement. And then the panel goes back to you guys.
I think we're standing in front of the door, and I'm like, okay, so we're going to make an entrance. It's going to be big. It's going to be loud. It's going to be dramatic. All of our element of surprise is going to be gone. But, the fans demand drama. And I want to turn the camera on so it's streaming.
Excellent.
And I look at Allie and I'm like, why don't you just stay behind me? Okay?
I mean, yeah, that's how it's going to start. You're going to get into trouble, and then I'm going to have to come in and save you. Don't worry. It's mainly about you.
We see a close-up of my face and I roll my eyes. And then I take the hammer and just swing it and like sonic blast the doors open. And I think it's a hard enough sonic blast that the doors go like flying off their hinges and like clattering across the floor.
Yeah, you definitely do that, no problem. And inside you see this big warehouse, and the space in front of you is like pretty open and empty. And then like all of these shelving units just absolutely full of boxes of stuff. But from the doorway, it looks like there's nobody inside that you can see.
I think we get a panel right before that of like me in super, super dramatic lighting, heroic pose. And then after we get the panel inside where it shows that there's no one, we cut back and I'm like deflated, but still the heroic lighting. And I'm like, well, that was lackluster. Yo, Miss Future, couldn't you have told me that it was going to be lame?
I told you, I didn't check this part. But I was right on that lighting. Don't worry. I saw it, and that's really all that matters. Gorgeous.
And then I'm going to just walk in, like, dragging the hammer through the dirt behind me.
And as you walk in, we can see more of the warehouse. And this seems to be the most open area. Otherwise, it's pretty crowded with like rows and rows of shelving units. And again, it looks pretty empty. There's definitely like more cameras around here, and there are some that are pointed at you guys, so they definitely know you're here. It's mostly quiet. It does sound like there is some movement further back in the warehouse, but this part is fairly empty.
I want to do the like echolocation thing that I have, where I can like turn my helmet to like sense sound waves and see if I can see. I've used it in the past to like determine number of villains and of like how many people are down a hallway. I want to try to do the same thing to be like, are we walking into a big group? Is there just one person in this building? How active is this?
Yeah, go ahead and roll to unleash your powers.
Oh, I love it when you do that. It looks so good. And I'm just like humming the Lighthammer song.
That's a 10.
Nice. We see these sound waves go out, searching the building, and then we see them returning back to you. And from what you get is There's like less than 5 people here. Like it looks like there's somebody there's a couple people in like rooms way in the back. But in terms of people that are out in this like warehouse floor that are not in offices, there's just one, and they are probably about midway through the door and the back offices. It's a pretty big warehouse.
I want to turn to Allie and just like whisper, be like, one person, back door, couple more people in the offices, max of 5.
So, which way you want me to go? We doing the split up thing, or?
I think you said this warehouse is pretty crowded, so I think I'm gonna like try to like tuck behind like piles of boxes or like bookshelves and try to like move like one obstacle at a time to get closer.
Oh, wait, I have an idea. Are we on the right page at this point, or the left page?
Whichever is more interesting for whatever you're thinking of.
If we're on the right page, I assume we're going to see one of these 2 buildings in the next, or one of these 2 rooms in the next page. Can I use elemental awareness to peek around to the next page and look into one of these rooms?
One of the like back rooms?
Yeah. I just want to like peek through the white space into one of the other panels.
You peek through and you see the office with all the security cameras where there's a guard like that's clearly supposed to be looking at the security cameras, but is just kind of bored and lazy and isn't looking too hard at them.
Okay. So I'm spending a burn and marking insecure because I'm not really sure how I'm going to explain this one to use elemental awareness. Can I frame what that looks like on the panel when I do it?
Yeah, go for it.
We see Lighthammer like scooting forward quietly, and Allie starts like putting her hands up and feeling around the edge of the room. And to Lighthammer, this would just look like she's just kind of feeling the air, but she gets to the edge of the panel and then just kind of pushes against it. I'm not sure if Lighthammer turns around, but like if he did, her body would just like stop at a certain point. And on the page, we see her like in the white space between panels, like peeling back the corner to peek on the next page.
God, I love that.
And then I can ask any one question about the world around you, and the GM will answer honestly.
Okay.
So when I'm peeking through, can I see like the security cameras myself? Can I use that to see where Pathogen is?
Yeah. Yeah, we get a decent shot of the security guard in the foreground, but in the background you can see most of the security cameras. The guard is blocking some of them. You see like a brief glimpse of Pathogen running down one of the like the warehouse aisles, which I'm absolutely picturing not like bookshelves, but it's like, you know, like Home Depot or like Lowe's warehouses. It's like more like that kind of shelving unit. Yeah, so you see him like run down a hallway, and you'd probably have to like take a minute to like register where that camera is located, but yeah, you can. He's definitely here.
Okay, cool.
Probably have to take a bit to pierce together where all these go.
If we turn the page, could we get back to Lighthammer while my head's still like off frame?
Yes.
Because I want to try to figure out where he is.
Yeah, Lighthammer, what are you up to?
I don't think I've looked back at Allie. I think I've just moved from like one stack to the next stack to the next stack. And I just assumed she's right behind me because I'm an egomaniac who is largely bad at working with a team.
That's fair, yeah.
And I'm heading towards the like back of the where we said the person was.
The person that's on the warehouse floor?
Yeah, that one.
Okay, yeah. So heading back. He's like in the middle between the entrance and the back offices.
Got it. When you said between, I thought you meant like in the doorway, like standing in the door.
No, I meant like it's the big, large warehouse. He's not in the back offices. There's a person that's kind of around in the middle.
Cool. I'm heading, like, I think I'm probably like pretty close to him, but I can't see him yet.
Yeah, these shelving units are pretty packed, so it's kind of hard to see what's on the other side. But yeah, I think we get like an overhead shot where you can see like, I guess it's not really a maze since everything's lined up nice and orderly, but you can see like all of the aisles where there's Allie closer to the door and Lighthammer clearly on the way over to this person.
Is there space to run on the top of those stacks?
Let's say yes, because that's fun.
Can I use my last move to jump all the way into the white space, run along it, and then jump through the overhead shot to land on top of the stacks?
Absolutely.
Cool. I'm gonna use that to move. And I think from there I'm scouting out, trying to find this guy.
Sweet. I think Allie would be the one to find him first. You see in the distance somebody walking around through these aisles who's kind of like looking in boxes or like touching stuff that's exposed and is just like messing around with a bunch of the stuff in here. But like he's going through all this stuff pretty methodically. But it's definitely pathogen.
Can I see Lighthammer?
I think you could see Lighthammer close, but moving in the wrong direction a bit.
Cool. I want to like find some nuts or bolts and start kind of throwing them at Lighthammer's helmet one at a time, trying to get his attention.
Lighthammer, like a hardware nut falls on your head. What do you do?
I think I'm just going to react. I think I'm just going to attack at it.
Oh my god.
I swing my hammer and just like send a blast of sound energy in the direction it came from. So I think I'm blasting a blast of sound energy directly at Allie. Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets, T.B. Huth, and Elliot Peterson, and edited by Anthony Sheets and Sean Geddes. Anthony can be found on Twitter at IcyNewYear or at IcyNewYear.com. T is a theater artist and educator in the DC area. She can be found at T Huth Playwright on Twitter or TPHuth94 on Instagram. Elliot can be found at Elliot Elen, ELLIOTYLEN on Twitter. Sean can be found at The Crumpit, THECRUMPIT on Twitter. Moon Harbor Heroes is played using Masks: A New Generation, written by Brendan Conway and produced by Magpie Games. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or on Patreon at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. The music in this issue is Black Vortex by Kevin MacLeod. This issue is GM'd by Elliot Peterson. Ali Vieira is played by Anthony Sheets. Lighthammer is played by T. Huth. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please leave us a review on your podcatcher of choice or tell a friend. 5-star reviews and word of mouth are really the best way for us to keep bringing these stories to more people. If you'd like to support us financially, check us out at patreon.com/moonharborheroes. Supporting us there will give you access to bonus issues each month. And thank you for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.